Nice job, Amber. Eddie Watkins Jr. brought that song to us, and I love it. Can really get into that song. Maybe we can sing it again at the end. I see you. You are the place where God shows up. Namaste. I see you too. You who are watching us on Unity in the Valley live stream. If you found us, I'm glad, because God shows up as you too. My message this morning is based on Genesis 1:27. God created man in his own image. In his own image, God created man. What does that mean when we talk about being of the image and likeness of God? Well, we like to talk about being a piece of that God. That the essence, the substance of God, the life energy, the frequency, the vibration, the creative intelligence, any word you choose to give it, that thing that lives in all things, lives in us. And therefore we're expressions of that same thing. I love the metaphor that talks about the ocean and the drop of water, because there's an essence that's the same. The ocean is big, huge. The drop of water has every quality that the ocean has. Wetness, cohesion. There's aspects of what's in the ocean, what the ocean really is, that are the same aspects of that drop of water. And the same thing is true of God and me, God and you, God and every living creature, every living plant, every living thing. The Great Spirit that is in every creature, whose breath gives life to every living thing. The rocks, the trees, the leaves, the stones. There's a Buddhist question that asks, does a speck of dust have a soul? From the infinitesimal to the extraterrestrial, everything in the cosmos, every tiny thing anywhere, has the spirit of life, God, that essence, as its essence. You believe that? That thought came out of New Thought. It's ancient wisdom that was kind of congealed by a set of special people who got together in the late 1800s and met and learned from one another, from their various teachings of all the world's religions. And they came together, and for a time they were taught in the classroom of Emma Curtis Hopkins, who came out of Christian Science. And some of her more famous students went on to found their own philosophies, their own New Thought beliefs and traditions. And they included Ernest Holmes, who founded Religious Science, which later became Centers for Spiritual Living. That's where my training was from. And it included the Brooks sisters, who went on later to form Divine Science, and Matthew Fox was one of their main ministers. And Unity, the Fillmores. All of them kind of came together and learned and adopted the same beliefs. New Thought believes in one God, one Great Spirit, in all things, omnipresent, present everywhere, all the time. God the good. Emma Curtis Hopkins used to have a saying, because she said, wherever God is, good is. You know, God created all the creation and called it good, and is in all creation. So therefore, everything is good. And when she was going through difficulties, she used to say, this too is God. This too is good, and I demand to see the good in it. And that's what was passed on from the teacher of teachers, which she became known as, to her students, to us, through the New Thought beliefs. We believed in creative thought, that our thought is creative and thoughts become things, and as within, so without, is the way Unity says it. What we concentrate on grows, what we give power to with our deeply held thoughts and beliefs, and that we were able to create our life's experience by the way we thought, and we could therefore give up our old thoughts based on ignorance and separation and all that stuff, born in sin. No, we're born in blessing. We're born as children of God with all those aspects, and that we are free to create our lives in order to be happy and fulfilled and helpful, as long as they harm no one else. We're not about harming, we're about helping. We're about serving one another. I was glad to find New Thought. How many of you are as grateful and happy to have found this teaching, this way of thinking, which is a spiritual approach, not a religious dogma? We don't tell you what to believe, but we do share with you certain truths that we think flow through all beliefs, and certainly ours. It's really the first thing in my life that I came to that I really wanted to share, other than my experience in Native American spirituality and culture and history, which we kind of shared a little sacred circle experience here this morning. I think that tribal philosophy, that tribal religion, we can call it, of the red man here in North America, is as close to unity and the New Thought beliefs as anything I've found. I find them totally the same. Different language. Wherever I look, God is. Whatever's happening, it's God expressing. I have trouble with that sometimes, seeing that, because things happen that I don't kind of agree with all the time, right? And when I look at those things, I have to make a decision to myself. Is that part of the growth of the human nation? Our growth and development and learning, is that part of it? Is that leading us to something better all the time? Therefore good, God expressing in that way. And I've come to kind of believe that I have to believe that way. I really do. When I see things that I don't agree with or I don't like, do I pour my energy into fighting them, or do I accept them and release them and start doing what I can do in a positive nature? That's what I'm coming to. One of the best books that I have ever found in New Thought, any of these religions that we're talking about, is The Golden Key by Emmett Fox. Tiny little book, little yellow book about this big. It can't have more than 12 or 14 pages in it, and it has one message. And it says, whenever you have a difficulty, stop thinking about the difficulty and think about God. And it says that 3 or 4 times in different ways through the book to get us to finally accept the fact that if we think about God and all the qualities of God and know that God is in us, that we are God expressing and those qualities are in us, then it changes our perception of what we're looking at. And those problems disappear. I've tried this. I know it works. I've bought this book for quite a few people in some different churches that I've spoken in. And I tell you the thank yous that I've got back. They charge an enormous amount of money for this book if you were to go on Amazon or somewhere and buy it. They charge maybe $4 for this little booklet. It's worth $4 million. I really, really recommend it. Emmett Fox was a key figure, a key minister in the divine science movement, which has the same beliefs as unity in religious science. He described 7 qualities or aspects that he attributed to God. What is the essence of God? The very essence and qualities of God that are essences and qualities of us by transformation. And we sang about them this morning. Light, the intelligence, that light bulb that is the light that goes on in our minds, our connection with the one mind, the one great mind that our minds are all connected with, that enables us to meet in that beautiful one mind, that creative intelligence, and know for one another. Mental healing, spiritual healing. I know the truth about you, that you are perfect, whole, and complete, that there's nothing wrong with you. There's only wrong with how you may see yourself. Jesus never healed anyone by knowing that they needed healing. He saw them as perfect, whole, and complete. Changed his thought and changed their thought about what was happening. We're all healers. You healed me in my last hospital experience. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But where was I? I was in heaven. I was in the right place. I woke up in the hospital one morning at 5:30 in the morning, and I've shared this with a couple people. And I had an experience I couldn't quite understand, couldn't quite believe for a while. It was about my 3rd or 4th day in the hospital, and it was 5:30 in the morning, and I woke up in a start. Nobody woke me. My hospital experience was beautiful. Every doctor, every nurse, every technician, every housekeeper, and I got along very well, because I went in there with an intention of expressing my gratitude for their beauty and their choice to do things in the medical profession for people, to serve in that way. They did stuff that I could never do. Not because of knowing how to do it, but just being able to do some of the stuff they did. And I thanked every single person that I came across. I said, I love you guys and what you've chosen to do. You make a difference. And I remembered you. You made a difference. You chose to pray for me, or at least to think good thoughts about me. You know, when I'm asked to pray for people, sometimes initially I think, well, now what do I want to pray for? The doctors do their jobs well, that you come out of this okay. And 99% of the time I come to wanting the highest and best good for you, for your soul, for your mental, physical, emotional health and well-being. I want the best possible outcome for you. And that's what I pray for when I'm asked to pray for people. Not any specifics. I may think I know what's best for people, but I don't know what's best for people. And I don't have to know. God knows. So that's what I pray for, and that's what but even more than your prayers, I really want you to know how much I appreciate you who prayed for me, but I appreciate more and love more the good in you that made you want to do it. that caring, that love, that quality of God that wants to reach out and do for others. Right? Gratitude. Found a lot of it. I knew I was in the right place. I'm still in the right place. I got some things to do for the next month. Donna won't let me do some things that I'm supposed to be able to do a month from now. But 2 weeks from now, we're going to be driving across country, and I'll be able to do that because of the rehab I'm doing. And the rehab I'm doing is a lot of cardio and stuff. I go to Banner Hospital, best hospital ever. And I do that twice a week, and I exercise on my own in the exercise rooms of GVR the other 3 days a week. So I'm still doing that. I've got to take action. That 5:30 experience I was starting to tell you about, I woke up and everything was dead quiet in a hospital with I don't know how many thousands of people. I couldn't hear a pin drop. And I wondered for a moment, where am I? Am I in some in-between land? Am I in heaven? And I lied there and I thought and I said, I've got to do something to start the world, to start life happening this morning. I've got to do something. So I did the only thing I knew to do. I went and grabbed for the bottle that they give you when you aren't able to get up and do what you got to do sometimes. I grabbed the bottle and filled it up and put it on the table and hit the nurse button. And things started happening. I heard people walk in the halls. I heard the nurse come in and take the bottle and do what she did with it, But I had to take charge of life. It wasn't just, it was weird. It really was interesting. And it left me with this thought that you got to share this, Jerry. You got to share that we're each in control of what we experience in life. We got to make the choice. We got to do something. We got to get into action. Not like our fifth unity principle. Not just know these things, but apply them in our lives. I can't just say I got to stop fighting things that I don't agree with. I got to stop fighting things. I got to accept them and release them and move on. And be here now. Be right here now. New Thought wasn't the first spiritual program that I was ever in. The first spiritual program that I was ever in was the Boy Scouts of America. And in the Boy Scouts, before we were able to tie knots or go out and hike and camp and cut down trees and whittle with our knives, before we did any of that stuff, we had to know and understand the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout Law. To help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Now, what was the Scout Law? A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Now, what are those? They don't have anything to do with religion. They have everything to do with relationship. They teach me how to live in relationship to the people around me. Am I helpful? Am I loyal? And am I obedient to what my conscience is asking me to do? Relationships are what a spiritual program is. It's about our relationships with God, our relationships with the people around us, how we live. How many of you have seen that statement that says, I don't need to know what you believe, I just need to know how you treat dogs? Right? I need to know how you treat people. How you treat dogs, and how you treat people. Are you helpful? Are you friendly? Are you courteous? Are you kind? As the Dalai Lama says, kindness is my religion. And he's right. You're a special kind of people. You love. You have God inside, and you let God out by the way you treat people, by the way you do things, not what you believe. Doesn't matter what I believe. What do I do? What does my life say? How do I let God show up? Love that song. Love that song. The second spiritual program that I was ever in, and it was a springboard into this one, into New Thought, because it was so much like New Thought, and it was developed by the same people who developed New Thought. It was Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12-step program to recovery that's been used by all sorts of people who need it. It was my intro to New Thought. And one of the things it taught me was how to better deal with those mistakes that happen out there in the world. Things that I believe have to be mistakes, that they can't have been God's plan. And that's one page in the book. We call it the page that teaches acceptance. And I want to read you what the big book says about acceptance. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I'm disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity, no peace of mind, until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. When I complain about me or about you, I am complaining about God's handiwork. I am saying that I know better than God. When I focus on what's good today, I have a good day. And when I focus on what's bad, I have a bad day. And if I focus on a problem, the problem increases. That's one of our beliefs, isn't it? And if I focus on the answer, if I focus on God, the answer increases. How much does that sound like what we think and believe and teach? Acceptance, release, and moving on today by doing good and thinking good. Don and I watched a movie a couple weeks ago called A Dog's Purpose. For those of you who haven't seen this movie, it's a good movie. It's about a dog. I think his name was Benny. And he lived different lives. It took you through different lives the dog led with different people he was with. And at the end of the movie, he says, all of this has taught me what my purpose is. And number one is fun. And I believe we should all have a little fun. God wants us to be happy, enjoy life. And then he says to find somebody to save and save them. Find somebody to save and save them. That's a helpful thing, a kind thing, right? A relationship thing. But the final answer was be here. My purpose is to be here. Right here in this moment, now. Not to be in the past where something may have happened that I still feel ill about. Anything that's up to yesterday is done. It's closed. It's done. Don't remember it. Don't live it. Don't resent it. Don't fight it. Be here today. Don't spend energy on the things that are gone. I got that same message from my spiritual hero. Everybody should have a spiritual hero. Mine is Mother Teresa. If there was ever a living saint, two things she said and proved with her life that I remember and I emulate or try to. One was, I am not against war. I am not against anything. I am for peace. If we just stopped fighting the things we were against and started demonstrating and teaching and urging and trying to make happen the things we're for, what are we bringing to the table? You know, negative energy, which just causes it to grow, or a positive approach to life. The other thing she said, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. There's great love in this room. God is big. Even the part of God that is in us is big, bigger than anything else. And do we just come here and talk about it, or are we part of it? If you've ever looked at the lists in the back for, we need help in the kitchen once in a while, we need help in the angel seats once in a while, we need help in the tech group once in a while could you be a greeter or an usher? How many of us are open to responding to that by participating in, we're in the movie. Are we just coming to the movie theater to watch, or are we part of the production team? Okay, when we're asked to serve in a certain way, do we get up and say yes? Is that a way? Is that a way that we can let God show up as us? So what's mine to do? How do I let God show up? To care, to help, to obey the Scout law, be kind to others, be helpful, to be a place of peace in my little corner of the world. Now, I'm not going to change the war in the Near East. I'm not going to change government. I'm not going to go tell Congress how to act. But in my little corner of the world where I'm planted, and I've been planted here for the next 10 years at least, the doctors tell me. And then I'll get a new battery and we'll see how long we can go. I'm called to bring peace and love to my little corner of the world. And that's my intention. So what's yours to do? Our board chairman, Doug Barningham, is going to get up this afternoon in a little meeting after church, and he's going to ask us to step forward and do some things that maybe we'd never considered before. And I'm going to ask you to listen to your heart and to remember in the meditation when we chose to listen to Great Spirit to find a message for us. What did we hear? What did we hear? Are we maybe a little more able to do what needs to be done to really make the best movie we can make here? It's not just entertainment. It's more like a documentary, I think. So, affirm with me now. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God shows up. And so it is. Namaste.